You're not going to want to miss this episode of the AI Show where we talk all about Foundry Local friction-free app development for on-device AI. Make sure you tune in. Hello and welcome to this episode of the AI Show. We're talking all about Foundry Local friction-free app development for on-device AI with my friend Raji. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, Seth. It's so exciting to be on your show finally.
I know, right? We've done stuff before. Done stuff before, but not in AI Foundry. For those that don't know who you are, why don't you tell us who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so my name is Raji Rajagopalan. I am a VP of product in the AI Foundry team. My particular portfolio within the team is all about efficiency of AI across cloud and edge. And the second part of it is what we're going to talk about today.
So tell us about Foundry Local. What's it about? Why should I be looking at it? What are the deets? What you got?
I got a lot of slides.
Okay, so let's go to those.
But first, let's talk about slides. Okay, so why are we talking about local AI today? I know, this has been a journey of a few years. AI has been happening for a few years, generative AI the last couple of years. Hardware has been getting more and more and more powerful. We have more powerful GPUs coming on market, CPUs, more powerful NPUs and Copilot plus PCs. So now hardware is getting more and more powerful. Models are getting smaller, sleeker, faster, more efficient. And we saw that with the breathtaking arrival of DeepSeek, how easy it is for some of these models to run on local hardware. We have been making optimizations, algorithmic inventions to make these models run even more efficiently on your local hardware. Ooh. And so we believe that this is truly a tipping point for local AI. And that is why we are talking about local AI. I'm excited about this, but also our customers have been asking us for local AI. And let me very quickly walk you through some of the use cases that our customers have talked to us about. Privacy and security, some use cases where specifically data has to remain on your client devices. We've talked to a number of tax firms, financial firms, where they want the data to reside on their client devices, on their customers' devices. Very important use case for local AI. And then cost efficiency is another one that comes up a lot. We talk to a lot of game developers, and this is something that is very much top of mind for them. They have tens of millions of customers using their games, their apps, and they want these hundreds of millions of inferencing calls that are happening every single month to be still done cost efficiently. And they want to use a combination of local and cloud AI for that. Latency comes up a lot as well. You're on your device, you're talking to your device, you want the translation to come up very quickly. Real-time translation, latency is an important use case. Low bandwidth is another one, right? Some of our customers, they have distribution centers in remote corners in Africa and Asia and rural parts of the world. And they want to make sure that regardless of whether you have Wi-Fi connectivity or not, whether you're on the go, flying in an airplane with very little connectivity, you still want to be able to rely on AI. So that's another use case our customers have talked to us about. But we know local AI is not without challenges. And some of these are listed here. Local AI has been tedious and error prone. All these different technologies, all these different frameworks, conversions from one model format to another, lots of tedious and error prone steps in really getting local AI to work. People have had to do performance optimization on their own for local models to run locally on their device. Again, model management has been a challenge. And then when you think about local hardware, it's very heterogeneous. You have NPUs, CPUs, GPUs, you have Apple Silicon. It's very heterogeneous. And so, developers have to target all these different kinds of silica. And that is added to how cumbersome local AI has been in the past as well. And cross-platform development is very important for our developers, right? They want to write Windows apps, but they also want to be able to reach, other platforms as well. So cross-platform development comes up a lot. And so we are bringing all the different.
Before we go back one slide, I feel every single bit of this stuff. Local models. Like my feeling, and you correct me because you're the expert here, is that we're going to start to see smaller, more specialized models that do a lot of things in aggregate. And why not bring them locally? But you're right; it's really hard to do this stuff, and people are probably telling you about this all the time.
Yeah, it is very hard to do this. And so, I've been a developer for a very long time. I know how lazy I am, and I know how I want all these frameworks to really help me. I know, I hear you. So yeah. I think it is very, very challenging if you have things that are lots of steps, lots of errors you have to debug, and everybody, there's so many things happening. You want things to be fast and seamless. And so we are bringing all the assets that we have across Microsoft together to aid us in this journey. We have the Foundry catalog, Azure AI Foundry. Many organizations trust and use Azure AI Foundry since we announced it last year at Ignite. 70,000 organizations. We've had Onyx Runtime. It's an open source framework that is loved by the community. It's been around since 2017. Organic growth. We see in our testing that it accelerates 4 times compared to raw PyTorch models.
Yes.
And then we have Windows, hundreds of millions of devices, users using and relying on Windows every single day. As we talk about democratizing AI, Seth, this is a very important asset for us. We really want to really make sure that all these customers are reached with whatever AI work that we're doing. So we're bringing all these 3 assets together to bring you Foundry Local. But what is Foundry Local, right? So Foundry Local is your fast, flexible, cross-platform AI runtime stack to execute models, tools as MCP servers and agents locally. And you do that starting with the Onyx runtime at the very bottom. This is the cross-platform AI runtime that we've had since 2017. And we are building on the backbone of the success of Onyx runtime, the high performance of Onyx runtime. Foundry Local Management Service is something that we have introduced recently, and that is what is responsible for hosting and managing your models on your local device. It is also responsible for pulling models on demand from Azure AI Foundry. These are open source models like Phi, Mistral, DeepSeek. They're pulled from Azure AI Foundry. And then on the top, you have the Foundry Local CLI. This is one of the ways in which you can interact with the stack. You can interact with your local models. You have Foundry Inference SDK. And this is pretty neat because you can now use the exact same code that you would use on cloud, on Azure AI Foundry with some very few changes. You can now have that working on your local device against your local models. And then lastly, you have Foundry Local Management SDK to help you manage your models, host the models, start the service, do all of that locally as well. Foundry Local is included in Windows AI Foundry. It's available on Mac and Windows as well.
Oh,
yeah,
that's actually kind of cool. So just if I could ask a couple of questions here, and maybe you'll answer them as well here coming up. So how do you make it so that, because I've run models before, and it's always a question of like, do you have the right CUDA device? Is it only CPU? How do you load the model? Like, is this something that the Foundry Local Management Service is doing for you?
Mm-hmm. So this is where the reason why we want it integrated into Windows AI Foundry is now we can use the intelligence of Windows AI Foundry to really make sure that developers don't have the burden of figuring out, does their end user device as an NPU, GPU, or CPU, right? Like, it is so burdensome for developers to have to package all these execution providers, which are really like, these little pieces, drivers that help you to talk to different kinds of silica, right? But developers should not be in the business of packaging them up and making sure the end users are able to get the right execution provider to accelerate on their particular silicon, right? So Windows has the intelligence to do it. Foundry Local is able to rely on that intelligence to really be optimized for that particular silicon, but also to remove that burden completely from developers to package and distribute it appropriately.
So this low level, the Windows ML, I heard that before because that's been there for a little bit, and I haven't heard the term Windows AI Foundry. Can you rationalize those two things for me together?
Yeah, so Windows ML is how you get your models to execute really performantly on your Windows device. Mm-hmm. We have been working, the Windows team inside Microsoft and the Core AI team that is responsible for that, the AI Foundry work. We've been working very closely with the top silicon vendors in the market, like NVIDIA and Qualcomm and Intel and AMD, to make sure that this Windows ML abstraction is all you need in order to make sure that the models are executed performantly on any kind of silicon, any kind of top silicon that is out there. So Windows ML is at the very bottom of Windows AI Foundry, right? So now how does Foundry Local and Windows AI Foundry are connected together? So Foundry Local is the open source way in which it's inside Windows AI Foundry. If you want to use open source model, you would use Foundry Local.
I see.
If you want to bring your own models, it is possible to run it directly on top of Windows ML. You can also use the inbox models that is available through the WinApp SDK API. So Windows AI Foundry is the larger umbrella that encompasses Foundry Local for open source, bring your own model with Windows ML, but also your Windows APIs with the inbox models.
Yeah, and that's cool. Like the opportunity to have the choice is pretty awesome. And the thing that I like, and now I'm starting to remember what the Windows ML thing is, that with Windows ML, it automatically selects the best hardware for you depending on the thing that you're trying to run. And so you can multi-target things with Windows ML, and that's what makes it powerful. Am I getting this right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. So I think we want to let's see if we can show something in action here. So let me put this down here. What are we going to look at here? Because I know you told me to get something ready on my screen, and I dutifully got it ready. So here we go. Let me share this here.
Okay, so you have Foundry Local installed on your machine, right?
That's right.
It's
Here.
Simple winget. If you go to the link that you'll post afterwards, it's a simple winget. It's very easy to get it installed. It's a brew install on a Mac OS, but you have it installed here.
Right.
So now you can just type Foundry.
Foundry. Okay. Foundry. What do we got here? So as I type Foundry, this would be the CLI for Foundry. Is that correct?
That's right. This is just it gives you all the options. You have the ability. I see. You have the private preview version installed.
Ooh, hey, look at me go. Oh, hold on. So Foundry model, and then so let me type it. Okay, go. So Foundry model list. And this is all the models that are I'll maximize this so it looks a little better. So these are all the models that I can run on this device. Is that right?
That's right. So you have a GPU, you have a CPU. If you had a Copilot plus PC, you'll see an NPU. You'll see NPU optimized models in here as well. But you see you have Mistral, you have Phi, you have DeepSeek. These are all models that are edge optimized. So the Microsoft team has optimized and quantized these models for you. So they will make, it will run really performantly on your silicon.
I love it. So for me to get one of these is probably something like Foundry model. Is it like, do I do help? Is it help?
You can do help, yeah.
Okay, dash help. So I can download, I can load, unload, and run models. Right. But I saw something else up here that I kind of wanted to get into. There's something called an agent.
That's right.
And tools. So let me. I'm just gonna self-discover here. Foundry agent. I'm gonna guess list. Okay, cool. So what am I looking at here with agents?
So first of all, agents, you can sign up to a private preview. Everything else is available in public preview. So it's just winget install. You can sign up to a private preview and we can share the bits with you, the installer with you, and you can install a build that will have agents in it. These are local agents. So the agents themselves, the LLM is local, and your tools are running locally as well. So you see there are a bunch of agents that you have here. There's the file organizer agent, which is an open source agent, but you also have the background remover agent, where it is a Windows MCP server. So Windows MCP servers, which are a lot more secure. The Windows team has done a lot of hardening of security for that, for the servers that are Windows MCP servers. But what do you want to do, Seth?
Let's try this, because I came prepared with an image. Here's this one.
Okay. That's a nice image.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and I wanted to try the background remover agent. So Foundry agent run. I thought I saw that. Background remover agent. Background remover agent. And I suspect if everything works, it's loading up the model. So I had already downloaded 5.4 CPU. I guess I could have done the GPU one because my device has a NVIDIA 4080. Okay, right. So now I just need to. Can you remove the background from Seth.png? Let's see if it works. Here, cross my fingers. So it's supposed. This will execute the paint action, I think. That's right?
So there are a couple of things that are going on here. Let me explain. So there is obviously the agents. The Foundry Local is capable of running local agents. And then you have the MCP server, Windows MCP server, which, like we talked about, it's a hardened version of the MCP servers that, look at that. It wants, this is exactly what we're talking about.
Okay.
Security is super important, right? Like we want to make sure that when you're running these MCP servers, the user is consenting to whatever action the MCP server is trying to take. And that is what the Windows MCP server does for you. It's your MCP server is not going to run amok and do all kinds of things. If you use Windows MCP servers, it'll make sure that the user is always in control. And now you have this, and you can say allow there.
Okay, so allow.
The third thing that I want to talk about, which is Windows App Actions. Oh, look! Yay! Background removed.
How delightful is that? The background has been removed. The background has been removed. But let's keep going here.
It's still an amazing mug, Seth. So the background.
Yeah, there you go. Look, operation successful. And so, what were you saying? You said something about actions.
Yeah, app actions, and I think it was Satya who announced it at build. Maybe it was Jay. I'm not sure who announced it, but it was announced at build. Windows App Actions, which is sort of like with third-party applications, these app actions, the third-party applications can expose these little actions that then things like agents can call. So what the Paint app, which is a first-party app, but any third-party app can expose these actions. Paint app exposed an app action to remove the background that the agent was able to call. So there's lots of things going on here, which I'm really, really proud of Microsoft for.
Yeah.
We did an amazing show at Build where we enabled a lot of different third-party developer things, App Actions being one of those, Windows MCP servers being one of those, Foundry Local being one of those. So put all of these things together, it's just so amazing.
Yeah, and it's just, I feel really bad that like all of that ingenuity and know-how and ability to use AI locally was used for this. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. So so I love this. I love the CLI, but can we, is there a way to do this stuff inside an actual app though? I'm kind of curious about what that looks like. Can you share something with that?
I will do that. So I actually have an app here that I'm going to show, but this is one of the things that Foundry Local really enables is that you're now going from just exploring models and experimenting and proof of typing and doing some pilots to shipping applications to your end users. And that is what all of this enables for you. This is why the Windows ML thing is important as you're trying to ship Windows applications. This is why the cross-platform nature of Foundry Local is important. So let me try and show you this application that we have built here.
Let's do it. Let me get back to your screen here so people can see it.
Okay. So are you able to see the
yeah, we got it. We're looking at it right now. It's a beaut.
It's a beautiful Electron app, and you're seeing it on my Mac, but this was built on a Windows machine, but it is cross-platform, like I said, and you're able to run it on a Mac as well, exact same application. What you're seeing here is actually an application that the team built for Build, and what this is trying to do is, it's a very simple app. It has like a settings tab and an events tab, and you see in my settings tab, I have an AI endpoint, an API key, and a model name, and this is all now set to my cloud on ai.azure.com. I have this 5.4 model that is deployed, and that is what it is using, and it is using a model that is deployed there. But what I want to do here is I want to just very quickly change it into local. This is how simple it is. It's portable code across local and cloud. So let me try and see what models I have on my machine. So Foundry cache list. This you didn't show, Seth, but I'm showing. Look at that. So this is all the models that I've cached on my local device. I have a 5.4 on my device, so I don't have to download this. I have a 3.5 mini. This is what I'm going to use, 3.5 mini. So let me copy that, and I'll go over to my app. Okay, so then I can just put that in here. So let me see if I can say, what are all of Seth Warris's
I had a session or two.
Sessions at Build, and I'll hit ask here. And while that's going, let me show you, are you able to see my?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, cool. What I want to show you here is this, right? So look here. There is the Foundry Local SDK, Foundry Local Manager. That is what you need for enabling this in your code. And then if you go look at what I did with, what am I doing?
Oops.
Okay. If you go and look at what I did with the code itself, this is all you need, guys. This is all you need to change from cloud to local, right? See, you have, if the endpoint includes local, then just use my Foundry Local Manager, init my Foundry Local Manager, use that endpoint. And then you'll see that if you look for where it's actually calling, it's the exact same code, right? It's just using the chat API, because Foundry Local uses the exact same Azure OpenAI client, model client, right? It uses OpenAI compatible APIs, and it is using the Azure Inference SDK. So it's a very simple change between Foundry Local and cloud. And you see, you have all of Seth's sessions.
That's cool. So I think what you're saying is that if you're using Foundry Local and let's just say you have an app that you've already built that uses like a 5.3.5 mini, for example, and it's hitting Azure, you're saying that to switch to local, you're literally just like string checking, is this a local model, and everything else is the same.
That's right, exactly. It's very simple. And you can even put this in config. I mean, the team did it because they were scrambling for build. They put it all in code, but it's very simple for you to just put this all in your config file, right? So you can think of clever ways in which you can reduce code changes here.
Well, this is really cool. Where can people go to find out more?
Okay, aka.ms/Foundry Local. That is my blog, and it has all the links to get started. It's super simple to get started. I encourage everybody to go there and just give it a shot.
And it was actually, because I mean, you can probably tell I downloaded it a little bit and play with it. I play with the latest bits, but the bits that are available, literally you can download the model and start playing with them right away. It's like your endpoint now is your actual machine, and that's pretty much the only change, right?
Right, exactly.
And then I have some links here for documentation here to go look at the docs for Foundry Local docs. So make sure you go do that. And then Azure AI Foundry is the ai.azure.com. And then tell us about this. Do you know about this AI Learn course?
No, you tell me.
I saw it on your slides. I'm like, I'm going to put it on. I think we're going to go find out together. Any final words or thoughts for folks?
Well, I think that this is exciting, right? Like, we are living through some exciting times. AI in every which way, right? Agents in every which way. And I feel like, really truly democratizing AI and making sure that you're able to get this at very cost effectively, you have to go local. And so try it out.
I love it. Thank you so much for being with us, my friend.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for watching. We're learning all about Foundry Local, friction-free app development for on-device AI with my friend Raji. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Take care.